Great blame. Who wrong, who no right. Because our dear native don't go. State government stand with you at this time and your family. By the grace of God, we believe say even you personally, but also yourself don't take some lessons because of the other children where you get, how you could take make sure say we protect them. Government too on our own side, we're not gonna leave you alone. Man, so when carry the pikin like that, unattended, we also will know what we will take do.
The Commissioner for Education, Honorable Dr. Padi Yamu, said the Edo State Government is saddened by the incident, adding that the state government stands with the family in this time of grief and encourage the family of the deceased to take heart.
On behalf of our governor, I'm very sorry for your loss. So as a government, we are committed to every child in Edo State. Please see what the governor to do to try to make sure they get schools and everything. When this happens, so we're very sad. That's why all of us from the local government level, brother, agency, are all here. And the children are our children for Edo State. So they're very, very important to us.
The Executive Secretary, Edo State Emergency Management Agency, Edo SEMA, Honorable Jerry Dahusa, reaffirmed the Edo State government's proactiveness in ensuring of its citizens, noting that upon hearing the news, the governor directed them to quickly visit the family to identify with them. He further assured them that the government stands strongly behind them during this time of pain.
We know say the child will die, not be anybody planning. Not a little mistake. From the information we gathered so far, yesterday I go up for the police station to meet with the DPO. The man in question, we carry the pikin, they go write this exam, he did detention. And the investigations are still ongoing to unravel what actually happened. Because on behalf of the state governor and the Edo State government, Mr. Spencer, Madam, please, I want to beg una, make una take am small. Beg una. Mona no say Nathan, the state government not go forget am. At least for waiting don't happen, so we will use them also to make caution, take precautions, make this kind of thing not happen to any of our people again.
Our prayer from the local government be say, whenever people will gather like this, make it not be for condolence, it be for celebration and happiness. And I pray, say, make God, in His infinite mercy, make He give una the grace to bear the irreplaceable loss. Because nothing will if you take quantify to the life of anyone. And that's why this government will within now government will be concerned by the life of every individual waiting for Edo State.
In his response, the father of the deceased, Mr. Paul Spencer, appreciated the Edo State government for their concern and sympathy towards the family. He narrated that he did not know his son was going to write the exam at a different location, as his son attended a private school near his home. However, he was shocked to hear that his son had drawn at Uselu while being taken to a private school in a local government area by his school's proprietor, who had enrolled the pupils in another school unknown to them. The Commissioner for Education, Dr. Padi Yamu, thereafter offered prayers for the family.
We come before you, our Heavenly Father, to ask that you give the family the fortitude to bear this irreparable loss in the mighty name of Jesus. So I want to comfort the mother, comfort the father, and comfort the entire family in the mighty name of Jesus. For the other siblings, Nathan has left behind, we ask that you protect them, you watch over them in the mighty name of Jesus.
In an interview with journalist Dr. Padi Yamu, Honorable Jerry Idahusa, and Dr. Kevin Egwakun urged parents to always monitor their children's whereabouts and advised residents to stay away from flood-prone areas during rainfall.
I'm using this opportunity to call on parents to take the clue from this lesson. Let's continue to nurture our children. The state governor or the state government cannot do it all. Let's nurture our children and follow up with them.
We need to be patient whenever it's raining. Like what normally occurs there in the Go, or rather around the Selu Axis, those are flash floods. In another 30 minutes and an hour, those things will clear off. So we can be patient, and that would have saved this boy's life. So we want to use this medium to continue to talk to our people, because most of the things that get these drains silted is indiscriminate dumping of refuse.
What have happened is very avoidable, and I want to use medium to talk to parents, especially the Uselu houses of Ego. It's rained heavily, like I usually flood them. But that's why you see every now and then we tend to visit the parents so that this water can easily find their way out of that particular area. It will not take you anything to be patient while it rains. You wait a little bit for the drains to convey the water away to the water storm project.
Government pledged to support the family during this challenging time. Best Orator reporting for BeeTv News. There was an arrest in the Agan community of North Bank, Makurdi, Beno State, as residents, mostly women, youth, and children, blocked the Abuja-Makurdi highway in protest against what they termed indiscriminate mass unrest by security forces. The demonstrators accused security operatives of unjustly targeting innocent civilians, particularly young men, while failing to address violent attacks by suspected armed Fulani herders in the area. The report.
Outraged and desperate, the protesters took over a major stretch of the busy highway, halting vehicular movement for hours. Chanting slogans and carrying placards, they poured out tears of frustration over unending insecurity and what they describe as one-sided security operations in the state. The demonstrators, mostly women, decried the latest wave of arrests, in which over 50 youths were allegedly picked up in a single day. According to them, these security raids have become almost a daily occurrence, leaving families in fear and communities on edge. They accuse security agencies of turning their guns on the very people they are meant to protect, while ignoring repeated attacks by armed herders who continue to terrorize the area.
The problem we have here, we don't even know the issue that they are arresting our husbands. We are not sleeping. The Fulani are killing us. We are not even going to the farm, nothing, and we are not sleeping. We just see police, swags, and soldiers that are catching us and soldiers. So we don't know the reason. That's why we are protesting today. But the chairman has come and speak with us that we shall allow him, should give him 2 days so that he will talk to the issue and settle it out.
Every time we used to run because of Fulani, sometimes we used to run with soldiers or police, or most of the pennies that we have in this Agan now. Even though when we in our room, they used to come and hold us and beating us, our children now, they didn't have to eat now because we didn't have money enough to feed them. Because all these challenges that we face now, please, we want help for governor to come and help us in this sitting.
The men that are actually sleeping at Agan, the youth, there are some security personnel that will come to Agan at night around 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. to come and pick some of the boys in the community. They will carry them the following morning. Some elders, they will delegate some elders to go and find out where they take them to. They will report to C Division, report to all the stations in Makurdi. They will say that they are nowhere to be found.
Calling for urgent intervention, the protesters demanded an immediate end to what they called arbitrary arrest and urged both the federal and state governments to refocus efforts on addressing the root cause of the crisis.
We want the government, the state government, to come out for this challenge. It's too much. We are voting him to come and save us free, but now we are not resting. Both in the bush, in the town, we are not resting. Why?
Let this information lead to the government, to the governor. Let us have peace in our Gan community. We are not sleeping.
Security personnel were later deployed to the scene to manage the protest and prevent it from spiraling into chaos. The situation was eventually brought under control following the intervention of the chairman of Makurdi local government, who pleaded for calm and promised to address the community's concern within 2 days. Freeman Osawe reporting for BeeTv News.
And now back to Edo State. Tension brews in Ososo community, Akoko Edo local government area, as a formal petition has been submitted to the Edo State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Sir Dr. Loki Segbe, by His Royal Highness Oba Bamidele Obaiton, the Olososo of Ososo. The petition centers on the alleged wrongful representation of one Chief Peter Momo, head chief of Ogbetua community, as the Olososo of Ososo, a title the traditional leadership maintained, which he is not entitled to bear. The report.
But under what authority? And that's my complaint. That it goes against our traditions and customs of our kingdom. That's the complaint. Short.
Okay. Lack of traditional knowledge. Chief Bamidele is telling me that I'm not recognized.
Presenting his petition to the Edo State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Oba Bamidele Obaiton, stated that Chief Momo's continued presentation as the Olososo of Ososo, along with reports of him conferring chieftaincy titles, violates long-established customs of the Ososo people. He said that Such actions have sparked unrest and compromised the security of the community.
This man is instigating communal clash with his actions. He says he's the head chief of a big one. Fine, if they give him that, that's their business. But for him to now be going to the other quarters with the appearance of conferring chieftaincy on people in other quarters is not right. And it's not recognized by the traditional institution of Ososo, but under what authority? And that's my complaint. That it goes against our traditions and customs.
We received a message from Mr. Peter in response to the complaints of the Olososo that he is already himself has somebody in a parallel government with the Olososo. And in that report, there are so many fallacies and lies that there has not been somebody presiding over Ososo since 1932 is a fallacy. Even when we have in immediate succession 4 Olososos succeeding themselves with the present Olososo of Bamidele, now in seat. More importantly, Ososo has been one, a mono community.
The whole of Ososo, which is to gather to give him the cap. But him now, the day we do your own, there's one chief that died now. We drove him because he's not part of us. After 2 weeks, that man cooked food, invite us, all of us go there by that time, he's honest. The late also is alive. We go there, we do this food, it's full of the do meetings. But as today, when he do something that is bad, they told him to do this food. He refused. He can't give people tattoo by himself. That's our big problem.
In his response to the allegations, Chief Peter Momo clarified that he has never claimed kingship over Ososo. According to him, his title was bestowed strictly within his Ogbetwe kindred, and he has not conferred any chieftaincy titles on anyone outside his jurisdiction. He said he's only recognized by his people, adding that he has never paraded himself as the Olo Ososo of Ososo.
I'm Chief Peter Momo, the head chief of Igbetwa community in Ososo. Issue of who is the head chief of Igbetwa came up. We were in this office. We met with a former commissioner. I forgot his name now, but I could remember Pastor Michael is aware of what I'm saying. If the government not recognize me, I'm not sure that we shall come here that time. We are here. And the person who was contending with me then, they asked us to come back after a month. And when I came back, himself was not aware to be found by excuse from his doctor that he was sick. That's a chief. Urifashi Wendoloke, who is supposed to be under me. I'm about to finish. So I hope it's lack of traditional knowledge. Lack of traditional knowledge. Chief Bamdele is telling me that I'm not recognized. By the special grace of God, my people recognize me. According to what I heard, he said that I'm parodying myself as the king of Olososo. I hope that should be a lie. Where, if he can prove, where I went and tell them that I'm the head chief, I'm the Olososo of Ososo, it's left for him to prove. I have not done that. Concerning conferment of a chieftaincy title to people, I have not done it. Even affair. That's why I say it's lack of custom. That's why he's accusing me like that. It's lack of, he doesn't understand our custom.
Addressing the matter, the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Sir Dr. Lucky Esegbe, thanked the petitioners for bringing the issue to the ministry's attention. He urged all parties to remain vigilant and committed to peace. The Commissioner conjured Chief Peter Momo to confine his role strictly to that of a community chief within his kindred and not to present himself as a royal father. He said the administration of Senator Monday Okpebholo will not tolerate actions capable of inciting conflict or threatening the peace of Ososo or any other community in Edo State.
We cannot say because we want to end Even when you see what is bad, you stand right. Remember, the last day, we are still going to appear before God. Yes. To give our first and the way and manner we have made our life here on earth. Is it in the area of dispensation of justice? In the area of counseling or advice? How do we able to carry our professional duties in ensuring that we carry it with fear of God? That is the reason why I say, okay, let us hear from God as if we are shutting you down. Like we have said before, yes, if your children have the power to give you chief testimony, there's no crisis in that, which they have also acknowledged. But taking further step to start giving out chief testimony title as if you want to abuse such matters, you will not accept it. Because tomorrow, when a royal father now wants to go and say, let me give you, say, what's the chief testimony? When somebody can go and give 10,000, 20,000, please, we must ensure that the dignity in chief testimony matters must be upheld.
The ministry reaffirmed its commitment to protecting traditional institutions and upholding justice across all local communities.
For us as council, we must ensure that at all times, when even matters like this come up, we must always tell them the truth.
That's correct.
I'm also a lawyer by calling. We must always ensure that we tell them the truth. I tell my clients the truth because of the fear of God. Thank you very much. So I think in the absence of another matter, we will appeal to you all. Please let us go and maintain peace and harmony in the source of kingdom. That is what the government of the people, the government of Senator Monica will stand for. One peace in the source of kingdom. One development in that kingdom. Thank you. We cannot benefit from any form of crisis.
Thank you.
Any crisis you see anywhere in the world must already be settled in a round table talk. Now we are able to discuss with you from both parties. We are thanking you once again for the peaceful resolution of this matter. Thank you, and God grant all for joining us back to our Beno testimony. May God bless you.
Although many communities are in conflict, but the state government, through the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, is wading into the crisis and resolving them amicably. Best Orator reporting for BeeTv News. Legal experts, environmental advocates, government representatives, and civil society actors converge in Benin City for high-level press and stakeholders parley themed Justice for the Planet, Strengthening Climate Litigation and Environmental Accountability in Nigeria. The hybrid event, which was streamed via Zoom, aimed to intensify conversations around the urgent need for a robust legal framework and civic engagement to combat environmental degradation in Nigeria. BeeTv News, God's Gift Omone, has details.
What should be the next step for such an organization to be of help to this community?
The interactive session, organized by leading climate justice organizations and supported by international development partners, brought together participants from across the country to explore legal tools for enforcing environmental regulations and holding polluters accountable. In his opening remarks, Barrister Chima Williams, an environmental law scholar and lead convener, underscored the urgency of the climate crisis in Nigeria.
We can see that on the route to climate justice, Nigeria has fared well because the inconvenient truth that we as Nigerians must continue to tell the world is that climate litigation actually started from Nigeria. And it is a Nigerian court that is the first court globally that had mentioned climate change in an environmental litigation.
Panelists discussed the gaps in Nigeria's current environmental laws, highlighting how weak enforcement, institutional corruption, and limited access to justice hinder climate action. Speakers called for judicial activism, legislative reform, and increased awareness among citizens about their environmental rights. Dr. Egosa Ekato, a climate litigation expert and an associate professor, noted that although Nigeria is a signatory to several international climate agreements, implementation remains largely ineffective.
Do existing laws in Nigeria give a leeway for children to institute cases against the government? For example, the Child Rights Act, for example, can they use that The FREP rules, for example, can we use that? The Constitution, for example, can say too. The various national policies on climate, for example, do those policies integrate mainstream children's rights, for example? So when we talk about climate change policies in Nigeria, do the government speak to the victim? Do they speak to women? Do they speak to children? Do they speak to their representatives? Are their viewpoints being reflected in these laws and policies?
The Pali also spotlighted landmark court cases where communities successfully challenge environmental violations, especially in the oil-prone communities. Zoom participants, including diaspora-based Nigerian environmental lawyers and international climate justice partners, shared comparative insights from other jurisdictions, emphasizing the role of transnational legal collaboration and strategic litigation on Mother Earth. Speaking to newsmen, speakers and attendees applauded the Pali while still calling on necessary actions to be put in place at all levels.
We call for a review of the Land Use Act because it's now a constitutional law provision to now give back ownership of land to the people.
This is a starting point. We need to talk, then we talk, strategize. What is the next step? And whatever we are saying today, Chima Williams have got the experience of doing it. The Bremen's case was led by them. So the question is, there a lack of capacity? So I think the major issue is a lack of awareness, and he didn't explain that role of bringing different organizations together. I think this is a starting point.
I am particularly concerned about women and children because they are affected by this climate change. So there should be more awareness on this.
This program has been an eye-opener and how to really help this community to see that justice is brought to them. So I really want to appreciate the body that has put this program on to educate the masses. I really appreciate them.
The event was moderated by veterinary journalist Elvira Jordan, who emphasized the media's role in amplifying voices of the marginalized and ensuring environmental stories receive national attention. The Pali concluded with a call to action to build a coalition of climate litigators, environmental defenders, and investigative journalists dedicated to exposing environmental injustice and pursuing legal remedies. Gosgift Omone reporting for BeeTv News.
And now let's take you to River State. The construction of several flyover bridges in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, has continued to bring excitement to road users in that state. The overpasses are major transit links for commercial and related purposes and were awarded to solve traffic issues that often arose before the construction of the flyovers. Well, we were in that state and we spoke to some of the residents there who enumerated some of the benefits of the flyover bridges in River State. Flyovers elevate vehicular traffic over existing road networks and minimize traffic congestion on ground level. The elevated structure help in facilitating continuous free flow of traffic and help drivers or motorists to maintain high level of speed without interruption from traffic signal. And this is what the people of River State have been enjoying over time. And so we're here to find out how these elevated structure, or you can call it flyover bridges, have been helping them in managing traffic. Flyover bridges are crucial for Nigerians' urban development, offering significant benefits in traffic management, safety, and economic growth. They reduce congestion, improve traffic flow, and minimize accidents by separating traffic streams. By enhancing connectivity and accessibility, flyovers also contribute to economic activities and overall urban efficiency. A visit to Port Harcourt, the River State capital, reveals that there are so many flyover bridges. Enumerating the gains of the bridges, some residents said the flyovers have allowed traffic to bypass congested areas, leading to smoother traffic flow and reduced travel times. They said the flyover separates traffic streams at the different levels, minimize the risk of accidents, especially at busy intersections. They added that the flyovers connect different parts of Rivers State and has improved accessibility and facilitate movement of people and goods. They explained that most importantly, the flyover bridges have helped to drastically reduce road crashes.
So far, so good. The traffic flow in town within Port Harcourt Metropolis is better off than the way it were before. That is why whoever that knows the essence of community development in an urban city like this has to be very, very grateful to the present, serving FCT Minister, Ezeye Somwike, because he took his time to look at the Port Harcourt master plan and said, okay, there's no point going from one point of town to other, especially those going to work at the Secretariat Complex, the State Secretariat Complex, to spend hours on the road and spend man hours on the road. And so he came up with the idea of having these flyovers built left, right, and center, scattered across his town and the city.
In Port Harcourt, we have flyovers in the city of Port Harcourt, and these flyovers has helped curbing the inflow of traffic. Formerly we had a serious traffic hold up everywhere. For one to go to work, you have to spend like 4-3 hours on the road. But with the help of the flyovers, one can easily, you don't need to clock yourself at a particular point. So everybody has its direction. So with the flyover, it helps in managing the traffic jam, because ones that are going after the flyover will just get to cross instead of going to jam at a point.
Well, it has really helped indeed. But what I noticed is that the direction of traffic sometimes is not well studied, so that sometimes the problem is still there to an extent. So if there is a need for flyover, then they need to study the direction of the traffic, so that they will know where to place the flyover itself, where it will cross. There will likely not be movements in Rivers State. Everywhere will have been blocked.
The respondent said for states with the resources, they should consider constructing flyover bridges in their state for traffic management.
My advice to other state governors is that they should also try to adopt the system that is working for the masses, because the system of this flyover is really working and people are really happy about it. So other governors should also adopt this system of making flyovers in their city, so that it will help workers and also business flow. Business will move on as well. So they should also try.
Advise other state governments to bring the project of flyover, because if they should have flyover, they will secure the environment, and they will also secure the people going out on the road. Because when they are going out, maybe this early morning, some will follow up while some follow down. Because if all the cars should follow one side, there will be a lot of traffic, and sometimes it will cause motor accidents. So I advise them to go ahead and bring the project of flyover to their states.
For those that have the kind of traffic Rivers State have, they need it. It's very important, but not at the expense of people's welfare, but necessarily if the government can afford it. Is a laudable project that will ease people from movement.
I'll advise that other state governors to look at interchanges where they have road network of roads, to get this kind of bridges, so that people can get to their places of assignment and their places of abode in time and achieve a whole lot.
A drive around major roads in Port Harcourt reveals that there are no traffic lights on the road, because there's basically no need for traffic lights, which may interrupt free flow of vehicular movement due to the flyover bridges. construction of a flyover bridge is capital intensive, no doubt. However, back home in Edo State, Governor Monday Okpebholo has commenced the construction of the first ever flyover bridge located at the Rabat Park, and another has been approved to be constructed along the Adesuwa Road junction. Edo people are looking forward to the completion of that project to enable them enjoy the dividends of a flyover bridge, which has helped to facilitate free flow of movement. From Urumokoro Flyover Bridge, East-West Road in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, Best Orator reporting for BeeTv News. Motorists using compressed natural gas have appealed to government to intervene in the price hike of CNG, currently selling for 380 naira per kg, stating that the new price is not convenient for them compared to the previous price of 280 naira per kg. BeeTv News Osarogi Agwebo reports that the motorists also appealed to the government to open more outlets in the state, citing the long hours they spend waiting in queues to refuel their vehicles.
We not to know what to make and they go up. I don't know whether I call the multiple people who don't buy gas, put for motor, we don't convert from fuel to gas.
A visit to the compressed natural gas station along Testament Road in Beno City revealed the usual long queues of vehicles and motorists waiting patiently for their turn to refuel. In an interview with motorists on the current price of purchasing the product, they noted that the CNGC cost 380 naira per kg after it increased from 280 naira months ago. According to the motorists, the 380 naira per kg is not convenient for them as they now spend more money to fuel their vehicles, coupled with the long hours they wait to buy the products.
That's now based on no enough station. Now few ones now just the now made the queue they do like this. Now 380. We just that we're already involved, if not. So go back now, it's not too easy. You know, it could be like say now it was past fuel. Because before you call queue, before you call get the gas, you go first take your time. So it be like we prefer the fuel past the gas.
It was increased from 230 to 380, and that's where it has remained. Nothing was done. But then in this country, do you have more choices? We just go ahead and buy because you need to buy gas. The gas is still cheaper than petrol. But the truth is, the time it takes us to buy the gas now makes it lose its economic importance. Because you cannot spend 2 hours on the queue trying to buy gas. And you can imagine somebody who is been on the streets hustling. You understand? So if you're using petrol, you keep hustling. But the person who is using a gas will be on the queue waiting. That's just it.
They increase the price. The price never come down. Secondly, the stations are not enough. And as many people is into the business now, converting to CNG, there are no much stations to be able to cater for the, that is the plenty quantity of the motorists. So we are suffering. Before I can use 2,003 to fill my cylinder. Now 5,000, 6,000 to fill the cylinder. And the transport no increase. The amount we are carrying, we are still carrying. So they affect us financially well. You know, with the Nigeria system, anything that go up never come down. I don't think that you come down. That's what I'm expecting. Nothing will come down. But if they can be able to build more gas stations, then that will become a competition. The price will drop. As of now, having about 5 stations in the whole Benin. So the price, I'm not expecting anything we can, except they build more stations. It will drop. Lagos station. If you go there, it's 230. Or it's 230. Only Benin here. If you look what the signboard, the road that they decrease, they say that in Benin City, it fell from May. So it fell from May at 380 in Benin City. That is only in Benin City the increase will happen.
The motorists appealed to the government to intervene in the price of CNG, stating that it is not easy for them. They also appealed for the establishment of more outlets in the state to help reduce the hours they wait to get the products.
I don't think there's any tendency of reduction. From experience in this country, price will always go up. And then when it's like individuals are benefiting from the only few platforms that they can, you find a situation where government is trying to take their own out of it from the person. You can find a situation like that of a POS, when all of a sudden several charges started hitting the POS operators, and then their charges had to go up. So if they feel we are benefiting from the gas here, they will take their own from us so that we will run almost at par with those using fuel.
At the best government, that they should drop the price and build more stations. The gas is more better than the fuel, quite all right. We're enjoying it. But now it is a storm in our flesh. We don't know if many people are now, going back to fuel again due to the suffer to get the gas problem. If you buy now, 1 day to buy, 1 day to work, you find it that it's difficult. So if the government can build more stations and reduce the price and make the congestion of the traffic of the days reduce, I think it's better.
But I not just get hope for the gas matter like this because the thing just did I want to explain it, just scatter person plan. The way you think can before. Some people say they will borrow money because this thing. But like this now, they regret say why they're going to involve themselves inside this gas matter. Government, not be there, not there. Then if government no know about the price, then I'm not sure say now government go see they involved into the price that they put. You know, understand? I don't know about government whether not them go feel airports or not condom because I don't know the way government is there again. We not believe on government again.
Since the removal of fuel subsidy and the increase in fuel price, many motorists have switched to CNG due to its better pricing option. However, with the recent price hike, motorists are expecting that the government will intervene and reduce the price and establish more outlets in the state. Osaroge Agwebo reporting for BeeTv News.
In a major effort to ease the burden of transportation on vulnerable residents, the Edo State Government has rolled out a free bus transport scheme targeting government workers, retirees, students, and recognized security personnel. The initiative, part of the Kaduna Subsidized Transport Scheme, which began on Monday, July 7, 2025, will run for an initial period of 6 months. BeeTv News, Harmony Agbafo completes the report.
Joy filled the air in Kaduna as Governor Una Sani launched the free bus transportation to cushion the effect of rising costs of transportation. The governor said the scheme reflects his administration's commitment to supporting key segments of the population amid ongoing economic hardship. He described the program as a timely intervention that will improve mobility for thousands of daily commuters while promoting discipline and order in the state's public transport system. He noted that the service covers students at all educational levels, regardless of whether they attend public or private institutions, and to qualify must be dressed in complete school uniforms. Civil servants and retirees are expected to present valid government-issued identification along with a corresponding national identification number (NIN). Similarly, security personnel must carry official identification to access the service.
Students from primary schools to secondary school up to tertiary institutions of our state will use these buses free, as well as our workers and retirees. And of course, other citizens of Edo State will also benefit. They will pay only 40% of the normal cost of transportation. What we mean by 60% is that where they're supposed to pay 100 naira in the normal commercial buses, using these our buses, they will pay only 40 naira. That's about 60% subsidy. All our buses are computerized. So it's not something that is manual, it's computerized. And when we say we're going to allow people to have 60% subsidy, meaning they can be able to use this card, which will make available to everyone. And of course, you can only see this thing when you go to advanced societies. And Kaduna, we have computerized all our buses.
Some pensioners and civil servants who rode with the governor in one of the buses commended the governor for a promise fulfilled.
The pensioners in the state are the most vulnerable persons because we are the aged persons. If at least based on the mega pension that we are receiving of 30,000 naira, if the subsidy is being reduced or we are going to enter at least bus free of charge, I think that's one of the best things that the governor can be able to do for now.
At times, you don't have money to come to school, maybe transport issues. So these CNG buses will increase, will help students in their transport activities. And for that, thank you, sir. Your Excellency, sir. Thank you.
His Excellency has walked the talking. We just now alighted the bus. We went around, and as I'm talking now, workers are enjoying this, the benefit of this scheme.
Following the 6-month free service, the government plans to implement a 60% fare subsidy for the general public. The initiative, he said, is not only aimed at providing immediate relief, but also a part of a broader effort to institutionalize affordable mass transit systems across Kaduna State. The announcement follows President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's recent commissioning of 100 compressed natural gas (CNG) buses at the Murtala Muhammad Square during his June 25th visit to Kaduna, further signaling the state's embrace of sustainable and accessible transportation. There are 200 bus stops across the states. Harmony Agba for reporting for BeeTv News.
Enugu State Governor Peter Umba has unveiled a state-owned airline, Enugu Air, describing it as a giant leap for the states and a good standard for government-private sector partnership. The inaugural flight of the state-owned airline took off on Monday, marking what the governor called a historic moment for Indi Enugu. Again, Harmony Agbafo has more.
Speaking at the launch, Governor Peter Umba said the achievement aligned with his administration's vision of transforming Enugu into a premier destination for investment, living, and tourism in Nigeria. Although the launch came weeks after his administration's second anniversary, Umba described it as a fitting gift to Indi Enugu. He stressed that Enugu Air represents more than just an airline, as it symbolizes a bold step in creating the right enablers for enterprise and opening up sectors that once felt out of reach. The launch of Enugu Air, according to Umba, also signified the possibilities that could emerge when strategic public-private collaborations were nurtured.
Enugu Air does not belong to the government. It belongs to the people of Enugu State. It belongs to the traders, to the students, to the investors, and the travelers who will use it. It belongs to the next generation who will look back and say, that was when we chose to compete. So let us not treat this as a mere ceremonial ribbon cutting. Let us treat it as a start of a new standard. A standard for infrastructure that serves the people.
Speaking at the ceremony, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, addressed public concerns over the fate of Enugu Airport, clarifying that the facility was not being sold but concessioned to private investors. According to Keyamo, the cargo terminal will significantly boost economic activities in the region.
Well, it's an incredible vision you have here. Mr. President has said it himself. I'm only reflecting what the president said. Beyond party lines, we should not be afraid to say it. You have a progressive spirit. You have done well for Enugu State. Do not let Enugu Air go the way of the Nigerian Airways. I beg you, run it professionally. Run it professionally. Do not let bureaucracy to kill Enugu Air.
He prayed.
And now to other matters. The federal government has formally set 16 years as the minimum age for admission into Nigerian tertiary institutions. Minister of Education Dr. Tunji Alausa announced this on Tuesday during the 2025 policy meeting of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board held in Abuja. Alausa, while declaring the meeting open, emphasized that the age benchmark is now official and non-negotiable. He warned that any admission carried out outside the central admissions processing system would be considered illegal. The minister further stated that heads of institutions found capable of admission fraud or circulating CAPS would be prosecuted in accordance with the law. The annual policy meeting sets guidelines for the conduct of admissions into universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education for the upcoming academic section. Details of this report in our subsequent bulletin. Assisting with education matters, the management of Ambus Ali University Ekpoma have debunked an online publication alleging academic and administrative decline at the state-owned tertiary institution. BeeTv News Freema Osawe reports that the public relations officer, assistant and head of information of Ambus Ali University Ekpoma, Mr. Otumba Mike Aladenika, stated this while briefing newsmen in Benin City. Freema's report is here presented. Debunking the online report alleging academic and administrative decline at the state-owned institution, Ambus Ali University, Ekpoma, the public relations officer, assistant and head of information in the institution, Mr. Otumba Mike Aladenika, while addressing journalists, said the Ambus Ali University, Ekpoma, under the leadership of the acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Sunday Olowo Samuel, has improved and is currently experiencing growth in academic excellence, transparent administrative leadership, which has helped to shape the institution. He went further to list some of the lofty achievements made so far in the institution, to include 1.5 megawatts of power generation supplied to the school, a memorandum of understanding with a Chinese university to boost technological studies in the institution, as well as sustained government funding to the school. He said, for clarity, the current administration led by Professor Sunday Olowo Samuel inherited a dormant part-time program with significant challenges, including a backlog of uncleared claims, examinations, and other issues. These challenges, according to him, were largely due to poor government funding over the past 8 years of former Governor Godwin Obasi and restrictive policies imposed by the previous social intervention team, adding that despite these challenges, the current administration has made notable progress in revitalizing the program. He said they have also successfully graduated medical students in batches, inducted over 800 nursing graduates, and almost resolved the MLS issues. Most importantly, according to him, relevant regulatory bodies have given them consent to admit students into all programs in the college. This, he said, marks a new era of growth, an opportunity for the institution.
Are coming out to say, okay, dear colleagues, you may have stumbled on one report or the other, and you may not have. So in case you have not, let us explain to you what may have necessitated such reports. One thing is that if you have good markets to sell, bring it to the urban market so that everybody will see you shaded. This group of people, I dared them one time. I said, if you have your facts, go and engage the journalists, they are in Benin. And don't be mischievous with whatever presentations you are having. Sticking to one particular quote and unquote with due respect to the online platform, we said this is not acceptable to us. If you have information and if you have issues to grind with the management, go to the open and throw it open and let us discuss it.
Mr. Otumba Mike Aladenika reiterated that the Edo State Government, under the administration of Governor Monday Okpebholo, is committed to the growth of Ambus Ali University, Ekpoma. He said the governor's interest in the university's affairs has positively impacted its operation, enabling the institution to address past challenges and move forward. And overall, the law faculty's achievements demonstrate the university's commitment to academic excellence and its determination to regain its position as a leading institution.
The governor saw the level of pachocord nature of the university and had to increase the subvention from 41 million naira to 500 million naira. Some distractors are saying that the man has not paid. I am telling you authoritatively, he has not owed. So if they are saying he has not paid, I am telling you that he has not owed. So he is paying and is religious to his payment. The university has also enjoyed relative peace with no further protests and gate closure, thanks to the effective leadership and cooperation between staff, union, and students.
He called on members of the public to disregard the online publication, saying that the first claim is not a true reflection of the institution. The briefing dissolved into interactive session where journalists asked salient questions. Best orator reporting for BeeTv News. Edo State Governor Seyi Makinde has disclosed that the late Oba Owolabi Olakunleyin will be given a befitting burial. Governor Makinde made this known while receiving a delegation from the family, including the former President General of the Central Council of Ibadan Indigenes and Ore Mayegun of Ibadan Land, Chief Bayo Oyero, the younger brother of the deceased Olubadan, Mr. Olushole Owolabi, and the son of the deceased, amongst others. The report is presented by Osaroge Agbobo.
Governor Makinde, while addressing the delegation in his office, said the state will stand by the family during this period and also give the late Olubadan a befitting burial. The governor commiserated with the family or your people in general. He said the government will stay with the family and play whatever roles they are supposed to play, including giving Kabiyesi a befitting burial.
Fortunately for us, God has designed our body for a certain period of time. I will commiserate with the family.
Speaking earlier, Are Mayegun of Ibadan land, Chief Bayo Uyero, a member of the delegation, said they were in government house to formally inform the governor of the passing away of His Imperial Majesty Oba Frederick Owolabi Ogie Olakoyeye I. He said in spite of the controversial situation they had before the deceased monarch ascended the throne, the governor still approved his ascension to the imperial throne of Ibadan land.
For us, it is a celebration of life. There is no mourning. He had his 90th birthday on Saturday, the 5th of July. He ascended to the throne of his father, becoming the Olubadan of Ibadan after a 43-year journey. So either way you look at it, from family life to military career to business, Kabiyesi lead a successful life. And therefore, we cannot be querying God as he has gone to join his ancestors early this morning.
Oba Olakuleyi celebrated his 90th birthday anniversary on July 5th and ascended the throne as the 43rd Olubadan of Ibadan land a year ago. Osarogie Agbobo reporting for BeeTv News.
In a related development, President Bola Tinubu says he received with deep shock the news of the passing of the Olubadan of Ibadan land, His Imperial Majesty Oba Owolabi Olakunleyi, who passed away at the age of 90. The president, in a statement signed by Bayo Onanuga, special advisor to the president, information and strategy, extends his heartfelt condolences to the royal family, the government and people of Edo State, as well as the entire Ibadan land, on the loss of a revered traditional ruler, a statesman, and a symbol of peace, wisdom, and continuity. President Tinubu, who mourns the Olubadan, also celebrated his remarkable life of service to his people, the state, and the nation. President Tinubu describes the late monarch as a highly accomplished man of peace, a public servant, a former military officer, and a royal father whose life embodies the highest ideas of leadership, learning, and service. The president prays for the family of the deceased. And now let's talk business. Stocks rose Tuesday as traders cautiously welcomed Donald Trump's extension of his tariff deadline, an indication he could push it back further through uncertainty over U.S. trade policy capped gains. Days before the 3-month pause on his Liberation Day, tariffs were set to expire. The U.S. president said he would give governments an extra 3 weeks to hammer out deals to avoid paying sky-high levies for imports of the biggest economy. This came as he sent out letters to more than a dozen countries, including top trading partners Japan and South Korea, setting out what he had decided to change if he did not change agreement with the new August date. Investors tentatively welcomed the delay and amid hopes officials will be able to reach deals with Washington. Some observers seeing the latest move by the president as a negotiative tactic. The letter said Japan and South Korea, while Indonesia, Bangladesh, New Thailand, South Africa, Malaysia faced duties ranging from 25% to 40%. When asked if the new deadline was set in store, the president said not 100% firm and asked whether the letters were his final offer. But if comes with a different offer and he likes it, then he will do it. And still staying with business, the Central Bank of Nigeria has directed banks to submit a capital restoration plan as part of regulatory efforts to support the exit from the forbearance regime. In a circular signed by the CBN Director of Banking Supervision, Olubukola Akiwumi, published on its website on Monday, the Apex Bank said the capital restoration plan would complement its other measures, which include termination of forbearance exposure and single obligor limits waivers, suspension of payment of dividends, bonuses, and investment in foreign subsidiaries for affected banks. Also, the CBN said lenders are required to submit quarterly disclosures on key metrics, which will aid regulatory transparency and support supervisory oversight. Effective June 30, 2025, banks are to disclose detailed provisioning status and reconciliation of affected credit exposure, CARO circulations with and without transitional release, classification migration data for restructured or impacted loan facilities, and comprehensive disclosure of AT1 instruments, including issuance terms, usage, and related conditions. The Central Bank added that the measures represent a firm but supportive framework for the final phase of exiting the regulatory forbearance regime, and reflect the CBN's fit focus on microfinancial stability, responsible banking practices, and standards. Let's now look at the global scene, where a new report by Israeli legal and gender experts from the Dana Project alleges that Hamas employed sexual violence during the 7th October 2023 attack as part of an intentional genocide campaign. Also, Acropolis closes as heat wave grips Greece. Let's now join BeeTv News correspondent Harmony Agbafo, who has more on this story and others from the global scene.
A new report by Israeli legal and gender experts from the Dana Project accuses Hamas of using sexual violence during the 7 October 2023 attacks as part of a deliberate genocidal strategy based on survivors' testimonies, witnesses' accounts, forensic evidence, and media. The report documents widespread rape, gang rape, and other sexual abuses, especially at the Nova Music Festival and in captivity. It proposes a legal framework for the prosecuting such crimes, even without identifying individual perpetrators. The report emphasizes the need for justice, accountability, and the recognition of sexual violence as a serious war crime. Greece temporarily closed the Acropolis on Tuesday due to extreme heat, with temperatures reaching up to 42 degrees Celsius. The closure, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., aims to protect visitors and staff. A heat wave continues to affect the country, triggering a Category 4 wildfire warning in 5 regions and mandatory work stoppages for outdoor workers. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced a 30% tariff on all South African imports starting 1st of August 2025, citing unfair trade practices and persistent trade deficits. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa opposed the move, calling it unilateral and not reflective of actual trade data. The U.S. is South Africa's second largest trading partner, and the tariff threatens key sectors like farming and automobiles. Ramaphosa emphasized ongoing negotiations and vowed to seek a balanced trade relationship. The decision reflects strained U.S.-South African ties under Trump, who has also halted aid and made more controversial claims about discrimination in South Africa. And that is all from the global scenes. Harmony Agbafo reporting for BeeTv News.
And now talking sport, AC Milan is set to unite Victor Boniface with Samuel Chukwueze to form all Nigerian attack. The club is keen on strengthening the attacking line by bringing in Nigerian international striker Victor Boniface, potentially creating an exciting All Super Eagles partnership with current Rossoneri winger Samuel Chukwueze. BeeTv News sports correspondent Prima Osawe has more on these and other sports stories.
Victor Boniface, who was instrumental in Leverkusen's historic Bundesliga title win in the 2023-2024 season with 14 goals, saw his playing time limited to 19 league appearances last term due to injuries. Though he still managed to net 8 goals, this inconsistent availability coupled with the emergence of Patrick Schick as Leverkusen's primary striker means Milan could potentially secure a service for its reduced fee of around 30 million euros, 25 million and $33 million. A big drop from his previous valuation of over 50 million euros. This reduced price tag and potentially lower salary expectations make Boniface a more financially viable option for Milan compared to other targets such as Juventus, Dusan Vlahovic, whose financial demands could complicate a move. Beatrice Chibet clocked the first ever sub 14 minutes to shatter the women's 5,000 meter world record at the Prefontaine Classic in Eugene. Kenya's long distance running queen Beatrice Chibet shattered the women's 5,000 meter world record at the Prefontaine Classic, becoming the first two in history to break the 40 minutes barrier. The double Olympic champion returned to the scene of a world 10,000 meter record from last year, was tracked for most of the race by Gudav Tisgay, who had the world record prior to today, and Agnes Jabet Njetic. But she kicked hard with 200 meters to go as Tisgay's challenge began to fade and she was soon passed by Njetic. Chibet was away and clear and crossed the line in 13.58.06, taking 2.15 seconds of the former world record of 14.0021. Real Madrid forward Kylian Mbappe has officially withdrawn his legal complaint of moral harassment against a former club, Paris Saint-Germain, just days before facing a PSG in the Club World Cup semi-finals. The complaint stemmed from Mbappe's treatment during the early months of 2023-24 season following his refusal to extend his contract with PSG. The 25-year-old was banished from first-team activities, forced to train with a group of unwanted players, and excluded from the club's preseason tour of Asia as well as the Ligue 1 opener. Although the France captain was later reintegrated into the squad after internal negotiations, the incident triggered backlash from player welfare groups. France Player Union (UNFP) also filed a separate complaint over the alleged marginalization of players nearing the end of their contracts. And that's it on Sport News. Freeman Osawe reporting for BeeTv News.
We want to thank you for being a part of our news tonight, and that's the size of our bulletin. We'll see you again tomorrow. My name is Best Orator. Good night.